What if everything you need to raise your energy and frequency is already around you? Think about this for a second. We have trees around us, we have the sun, we have the ground, we have water, atoms, frequency. We have all of this energy around us all the time. And you might think, well, why is it that way? And why do some people not have it to the same degree that I might have it? So people living in a forest versus people in a city. It's all to do with what we are energetically at our core. We're the spiritual being. Now, this spiritual being is at an eternal state of balance. If we take a look at the whole universe, it's always in pursuit of balance. We see this by planets orbiting suns to create this balance in the gravitational forces. We see it when you look at the ocean. We have sand, then water, then air. And it's not as if they're all mixed up and random like blobs of sand floating across our vision while we're at the beach. It's all intentional, and it's part of our souls creating balance around us. Now we can harness that energy to change this reflection around us. And if you've been going through a difficult time, maybe with yourself in terms of not feeling good, not feeling like you're at the best level you can possibly be, and you want to change this by changing your energy and raising it along with your frequency to change this manifestation, then this video is for you. The whole idea of changing your energetic frequency or raising your energy is not new. This is a concept that the ancient Egyptians used to use. They used to see the world as being this magical place around them, and the energy itself was magical. We have a whole bunch of this in our society, and one of my favorites are the ancient Chinese who believed in qi, or qi is actually how you pronounce it. Qi energy is the energy that flows through all things. And we can tap into this qi, pull it into ourselves, and literally elevate our frequency and state of being. Now, something that's been interesting me for a long time, for those of you who've been here a while, you know that I love making spirituality practical. It's not just about it being esoteric, making it tangible and something that people can apply in their lives. And something I found recently are two scientists that are actually taking spirituality and showing you the science behind it. So this topic is being studied with science and is shown a lot more detail in how these practices work and how they actually change who and what we are. And one of my favorite ones is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza has been using meditations and certain practices to help people elevate their state of being for a long time. And one of the biggest things he said in one of his books, and I'll put it on the screen right now. In this book, he speaks about how the energy or frequency of authenticity literally throws your magnetic field up to 15 feet away from your body. So the magnetic field that is literally controlling the frequency match of energy that is coming around you expands. And you can do that by being in the energy of authenticity. Now, it's a lot easier said than done, and I'm going to get into the actual way that you can draw this energy in and shift yourself in a second. And before I dive headfirst into that, I want to introduce you to a new scientist that has really been exciting me. Her name is Kimberly Snyder, and she's been going through a whole bunch of spiritual retreats, you can call it, throughout her life. And she came to this one understanding about the heart being a brain and a mind of its own. She does a whole bunch of work on mind-heart coherence, and she does a meditation on heart coherence. I'm busy listening to her audiobook, which is called The Hidden Power of the Five Hearts, which I'll link in the description. I'll also show you what the book looks like here. And I'm also going to link her 8-minute meditation for heart coherence that you guys can go and take a listen to as well. Now, I'm going to be making a video on how this meditation has already had such a huge impact on Tuesday. If you don't want to miss out on that video explaining how that meditation has changed things in terms of how I can attract energy into my space, make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and you won't miss out when I release that video. So what is the relevance of bringing in these scientists into the concept of spirituality? It's a better way to understand practically how spirituality works. Now, for me, it was a very different experience. It wasn't through logic and through reason, which is something I'm deeply grounded in and something that means a lot to me. The way that I got to understand spirituality was through a deep spiritual awakening. Now, I was raised in a religious home, in a Christian family, and I believed a lot of what was said out of blind faith. But as I got older, I started questioning how these grand claims of this deity could even exist. How could they be real? How could it be something that even exists? And this started turning for a few years. But when I went into my depression, before that, after I lost my cousin, all of these things started standing out to me. I started to become more and more curious. about how it all worked. And in my lowest point, these things didn't even matter, to be honest. I was just at such a deep state of depression and pain that I didn't want to experience anymore, that it allowed me to let go of something that I needed to for a long time. That was fear. Now, getting into drawing energy from the space around you is a lot less ethereal and esoteric than you might think. It's actually something you can practically do right now. That meditation that I just told you about by Kimberly Snyder is brilliant, but you can do something else to literally start pulling in the energy into your state of self now. Now, we were actually born with this incredible meter to judge where we are in our energetic field. And this meter moves up and down like a needle in a car, and it will tell you where your revs are. It will tell you energetically when you're not where you should be. And the way it does that is through feeling. Now, in Kimberly Snyder's book, where she speaks about the hidden power of the 5 hearts, she speaks a lot about the heart itself and about it having neurons. 40,000 neurons have been found in the heart. And what they found is that your heart sends more signals to your brain than your brain does to your heart. So your heart in and of itself thinks. And when you just move your attention down there, which is part of the technique, into your heart, you start to feel things calm down instantly. It also brings you into the moment. Your feelings are what you use as a gauge to tell how accurate the manifestation around you is reflecting what you want it to reflect. The whole point of coming to life is to learn how to control energy around you and live in heaven on earth. Create heaven right here in your day-to-day lives. So if that's something you're interested in, if this is already tickling your fancy, leave me a like. I want to see how many of you are resonating with how cool this could actually be. So there are 3 things I'm going to bring into your attention to literally start drawing in and harnessing energy from your immediate surroundings, from things around you, people, places, the sun, trees, water, atoms, all around you right now. And those 3 things are feelings, your heart, and presence, being aware of the moment. It is so important to be aware of the moment. If you are aware of what's going on around you in this exact moment, that is where you have access to the most energy. Your consciousness and focus are what determine how much energy is being projected out. So if you're sitting in thought, that's where the energy is being projected. And a lot of us get stuck there in overthinking, in what if, in anxiety. If you're there, let me know in the comments. How many of you have sat and lived in anxiety for more than a month? Been in this constant state of what if everything falls apart? I want to hear your stories. I want to chat to you guys. And for those of you who don't know, I respond to each and every comment personally. I have full-on conversations with people in the comments. So I genuinely would love to hear where you're at and how intense that anxiety thing was. How long did it last for you? Let me know in the comments. Feeling is the way that we can tell where we are spiritually. Now, the way that works is what we enjoy experiencing in terms of feeling. If you're somebody who loves to be at the fair, or any of those huge places with roller coasters and rides and all these enjoyable experiences, then you have experienced that joy. If you're somebody who loves to travel and spend time with your loved ones, then you know what that is, that feeling I'm talking about. And if you're somebody who's walked home late at night past a dark alley and felt a discomfort, then you also know what I'm talking about. This feeling is a meter to tell you that the reflection happening in this manifestation is something you need to change. The universe is communicating to you through these reflections all the time. And the energy in there is always going to be a reflection of the energy within self. Now, we actually use feeling in a creative way to start drawing in the energy from the outside and around us. And this isn't necessarily a meditation. So if you're thinking, I'm going to have to sit now, close my eyes and cross my legs, it's not exactly that. Next is that heart I was speaking about. Putting your focus on your heart brings your awareness to your feelings. It literally puts you in the driver's seat where you can see the needle. You're no longer in the passenger seat of your life. So bringing your awareness to the heart is the biggest thing you can do, and you have to do that in the present moment. When you become aware of your space, and I'm going to show you how to do it, you can literally start drawing in energy. Now, why I say emotions and feelings are used in a creative way is because your life is not actually limited from experiencing the feelings you want to feel to your experience in terms of what you get to feel. What you get to feel can be created, and you do it all the time, just by imagining the best case scenario. One of the most common ways you'll feel this is when you have a new crush, when you've just fallen for someone. That feeling that you get is a creation of your imagination. Your imagination is running wild with all the potential possibilities that only live in the idea of love. And that's why they are untaintable versus getting in your car and driving to work, or letting your child get in the car and drive for the first time. Those are filled with worrisome thoughts in your imagination. So it doesn't necessarily bring a good energy. And that's why I use that example about your first love or your crush. Because that feeling you get is only created from love, which is only a good feeling. So we anchor our creative energy in that space. And what that starts to cause is a shift in our own frequency, which then changes our outer reality to be a reflection to that new frequency. Now, the way in which we start drawing things in to our state of self is by getting into the present moment. So the first thing you have to do is become aware of the now. If you haven't seen my previous videos, here's a quick run through. Just connect with your senses. Now, it's not about what you see or what you hear or what you smell and what you feel. It's actually about the fact that you have the ability to do so. And the way we do that is by looking at the distance from ourselves to the things we see, the distance from ourselves to the things we hear, the ability to feel across your whole body, different experiences. For example, in South Africa right now, it's summer. So I've got a shirt on and my body can feel this very close material, but it can also feel wind paths moving on my skin in other spaces where clothes are not, like my arm. Being aware of this ability to have senses and interpret the world through this actually quite small way is what anchors you in the moment. And it is such a powerful thing to do, to become aware of the moment, to sit in the space and just realize where you are. And the reason we want to do that is it gets you out of thought, which is where you don't want to exist, and puts 100% of your consciousness and focus into the now. And that starts to create a frequency of its own. You can imagine a ball of light starting to build up, spin faster, and get bigger in this space. And we can call that your consciousness. From doing this presence activation method, what happens is we let go of those thoughts, which means we become aware of the now, and the worries and anxiety and problematic emotions fade and dissolve because our awareness is anchored in the moment. We then take that awareness and move it intentionally into the heart. And the reason I like the presence thing first is we don't bring the anxiety into that space. It's just present, neutral awareness. As we get into the heart and we put our awareness, it's literally just thinking about your heart. We start to breathe into the heart. Now, a lot of people will tell you about diaphragmatic breathing, which is the healthiest way to breathe. It's not shallow in your chest, it's all the way to your stomach. We'll get into that in another video, and if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. Like this video, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on those type of uploads. But in this specific example, we want to breathe directly into our heart. We want to feel as if air is going into the heart and out of the heart. And as we just breathe into this, solidifying this awareness in that space, we can then start to connect with an imaginative emotion that we want to experience. Now, this is the signal to your reflection to start giving you that energy. Now, what I mean by that is we go, okay, great. What does it feel like to have the car of my dreams, the partner of my dreams? What does it feel like to experience that in this moment in my imagination? Now, the cool thing about your imagination, and like I said earlier, it doesn't limit you this life from experiencing the feeling you want only if you're in that situation. You can actually feel what your imagination creates right now. Imagine being in that situation, having everything you've ever wanted, being the version of you that is complete. What do you think in your imagination that would feel like? You don't need the outside world to reflect that. How do I know that? Because you've just created that emotion in your mind. So your mind is capable of giving you the feelings you want anyway. So we grab hold of that feeling and we allow ourselves to be in that, in our imagination. We can close our eyes and just literally walk around in that space in our minds, having what we want, the people we want, the bank account number we want, just what that would feel like. And we start to feel the next level of what that would be for us. And once we've done that, we can let go of the image and just hold on to that feeling. And as we hold on to that feeling and start breathing into it, open your eyes and just allow yourself to breathe in while holding that feeling and letting go of the thought. And as soon as it starts to dull, bring back the thought. Allow yourself to reconnect with it that way. And just breathe it in, feel it and feel it and feel it. You need 5-10 minutes. What this does is automatically raise your frequency without your situation doing it for you. And as you raise that energetic frequency, you're actually pulling in the energy from the frequencies and objects around you in this awareness state. And you will start to feel that things uplift. And as you do that, you're starting to tell the atoms to change position. You're saying, now I need the things that are going to reflect the state of me. And that's what will manifest the car, the number, the house, the partner that you want. You can literally grab and draw energy out of the moment. And that's what Tai Chi and those things are actually practices of. Pulling in that energy by choosing it in yourself and allowing the universe to create that balance around you. As you raise this frequency, you will know it's working through feeling. If you feel that good feeling is being maintained, that means you have literally uplifted your energy. And after doing this for 7 days in a row and you start to make this a habit, things legitimately change. The first time I did that practice, the first time I combined all of these teachers' things and put it into one moment for myself, which is that method I'm sharing with you now, my girlfriend, who I had been having struggles with in terms of how certain things were going in our relationship, rocked up at my door and was like, I'm here to spend the day with you. I'm just here to give you my attention that you've been speaking about. And it was like instant. As I raised my frequency, the things around me started to raise frequency too. And if you want to see what all happened after the 7 days of me trying this meditation and what changed in my life, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that video, which will be coming out on Tuesday. Thanks so much for being here. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. And if you haven't already, leave a comment down for me to respond to. I hope to see you on my subscribers list and watch you start manifesting your dreams too. Mad love and light.